Hello and welcome to our yoga practice today. My name is Mina and I'll be guiding you through a flow. Thanks for joining me. If you need to gather any props, if you need some extra support in balancing, you might find a block helpful. If you don't have a yoga block, you might use a stack of books. So I'll give you a moment to gather those. I'd like to start today with a quote by Thich Nhat Hanh. Breathing in, I calm the body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is the only moment. And so with that, I invite you today to practice in the present moment, letting go of fluctuations in your mind and mental chatter, and uniting your breath to movement and uniting your mind to body. So we'll start sitting tall. Ground your sitting bones. Elevate your seat with a prop if you need, if you'd like to add some ease into the hips. And then let your hands rest comfortably. That might be on the backs of your legs, palms down or up, you choose, or perhaps under the belly. And so as you ground the sitting bones, lift and lengthen through the torso. You might even take an inhale to reach your shoulders to your ears. And as you exhale, round them down the back, broaden through the chest. I'll invite you to close your eyes or find a steady gaze. And take a moment to notice how you have arrived into the space today on your mat. Simply observe the physical body, maybe taking a scan of the body from the crown of the head to the soles of your feet, and simply being aware, letting go of any judgment or story around the sensations that you feel, just becoming an observer. As you notice the physical body, take a moment to draw your awareness to the mental body, your mind space. Notice any chatter that's there and just become a watcher, observing the fluctuations without attachment, judgment, or story. And then notice your breath. Notice where the breath is moving in your body freely. Notice where it feels a little bit more constricted or harder to reach. And then let's take a few deep breaths all together, letting go of some sound on the exhalation. So when you're ready, take a deep breath in, fill your lungs up to the top, hold and retain the breath. And as you exhale, let it out the mouth. Releasing some sound or a sigh. Let's do that again 2 more times at your pace. Deep breath in, fill to the top. Big exhale, let it go. 1 more like that. We'll come into some more breath control, Ujjayi breath. You can allow your tongue to rest onto the upper palate behind your top teeth. Seal the lips, and then we'll start to breathe through the nostrils. As you're doing this, notice the sound of the breath, soft, sweet, audible breath in the back of the throat as you constrict the glottis. And allow your mind to rest into the sound the breath is creating. Use this as a mantra, a focal point to keep guiding your attention back when the mental chatter might step in again. And also using Ujjayi breath, this victorious breath, to heat the body from the inside. So keeping that awareness of breath, we'll start with some simple neck stretches, and you can do these with your eyes closed if you like. Drop the right ear towards the right shoulder. At the same time, allow the left shoulder to feel heavy and weighted. If you'd like, you can bring your left hand just outside of your hip and begin to crawl the fingertips out nice and long. Press down into the pads of your fingers. Soften into the facial features, allow the jaw to hang loose off of the hinge joint. The muscles around the eyes soften. And then turn your head as if to look over the right side. From here, start to tuck your chin to your chest, tracing into the collarbones. Feel the back of the neck long, and just notice sensation. Be kind and gentle. Once you find yourself looking over the left side, pause, right shoulder heavy. You can circle back the same way, or if the neck is comfortable, lift the chin up, open your throat, and complete tracing this imaginary circle. Eventually your head can come back to neutral, guide the left hand back in. Same thing other side, your left ear can drop, right shoulder heavy and weighted. Just bring your right hand outside the hip as you crawl the fingertips out nice and long. Anchor down into the pads of your fingers. Make sure you're breathing. And then turn your head as if to look over the left side. From here, tuck your chin towards your chest. Trace into the collarbones again, moving slow with awareness. Notice the sensation in your neck. Be kind. Pause, looking over the right side, left shoulder heavy. Again, choosing to circle back the same way with your chin or open the throat and complete that imaginary circle. Your head can come back to neutral as you guide the right hand back in. If your eyes are still closed, bring in some light softly, blinking the eyes open. Take a deep inhale, sweep your arms nice and high overhead, the gaze can follow. And as you exhale, we'll rotate to the right. Allow your right hand to rest behind you. The left hand could be on the floor or your leg. As you breathe in, lift and grow your spine taller. And as you exhale, rotate, looking over the back shoulder. As you inhale, unwind, come back to center. The arms can lift. And as you exhale, twist to the left. Keep the shoulders soft, the spine tall, and that gentle rotation. Good on your inhale, unwind, let the arms rise high overhead, the palms can meet, and move your hands through the midline of the body. Find yourself into a tabletop position. And so as we come into tabletop, have your shoulders stacked above your wrist crease and your hips directly above your knees. We'll warm up the spine through flexion and extension. So as you exhale, come to round your back, Majariyasana, the cat. Press into the palms, the head can dangle loosely. As you breathe in, reverse the curve. The belly will sink, sitting bones lift, reach the crown and the heart up. Take 3 more like that at the pace of your breath. Exhale, rounding into flexion. Inhale, reversing. Really articulating through the vertebra, nice and slow. 2 more. On the next one, come back to neutral. Find again a nice flat tabletop with your spine. Allow yourself to feel really strong and stable through the center of your body, so the navel's tucking in and up, the pelvic floor is contracting and lifting, so you feel strong. And then we'll take a spinal balance. Extend your right leg out behind you at about hip height. If you have the balance, the opposite left arm is reaching forward. Get longer in either direction, as if there was a tug of war reaching you forward and back. You can keep your gaze down so the neck stays long. And as you exhale, let's gently release. We'll do the same thing other side. Left leg extended. Press out through the heel so the foot stays flexed, the toes point downward. Extend the right arm ahead of you, keeping your gaze again down to the mat so the neck is long. As you exhale, gently release. For a moment, let's find Balasana, child's resting pose. I like my knees wide, and you can choose what feels good for you. Perhaps the big toes touch. Sink your sitting bones to your heels as you extend your arms, lengthen your spine, and allow the forehead to melt towards the earth. Take a few deep breaths. As you're here, notice the breath moving into the back body, expansion, contraction, the rib cage. From child's pose, we'll come into downward facing dog. So you can find your tabletop position again, shoulders, hands about shoulder with distance. Spread your fingers wide, curl your toes under and begin to lift the sitting bones up towards the sky. You can find a little bit of intuitive movement if you like here, pedaling through the feet. Check in with your body, notice how you've landed today, how the hamstrings feel. Eventually finding a little bit of stillness, head is nice and loose, shoulders rising up away from the ears and the navel tucking in and up. From here, let's look up towards your fingers and softly walk your feet to your hands. I'm going to leave the feet about hip-width distance apart, bend your knees for comfort and ease, and grab a hold of opposite elbow. Allow your head to hang heavy between your biceps. You can stay right there. You might find some gentle movement through the torso, allowing yourself just to move from side to side
releasing into the spine with gravity. And then let your arms fall to the ground, heavy and weighted. Look at your toes, pick up all 10 of them, and then spread them wider as you set them back down. Feel the big toe mound grounding, the inner arches of your feet lifting, the navel's drawing in and up, and we'll round up nice and slow, stacking the vertebrae as we come all the way up into standing position. At the top, inhale your shoulders to your ears, and as you exhale, draw them down your back, broaden through your chest. Coming into warming up the body further, Surya Namaskara A, so you can find yourself at the top of your mat. Allow your toes to touch, a little bit of space between the heels, and the hands can come to either side of you. Feel grounded and strong. We'll connect each breath to movement. Surya Namaskara A, as you inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky, your gaze can lift. Exhale, hinge and fold forward, keep your spine long. Ardha Uttanasana, as you inhale, look to the horizon, lengthen the crown away from your tailbone. Plant your hands, step your feet back, Chaturanga Dandasana, lowering with control, elbows brushing the ribcage. As you breathe in, you can come to cobra, hips on the ground, or full extension, upward dog. Keep your shoulders soft. As you exhale, roll over the toes, sitting bones will rise, downward facing dog, and we'll breathe here for 5 breaths. As you're here again, thinking about the navel drawing in and up, shoulders rising up against gravity, fingers grounded, spread the fingers, full palm rooted. And hear your breath. The end of your exhalation, look to your fingers to step, walk, or gently hop your feet to the hands. As you breathe in, lengthen the crown away from your tailbone. And on your exhale, hinge and fold forward. On the inhale, rise the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, hands coming back into the heart. Let's do that again. Deep breath in, sweep the arms up, grow tall. Exhale, hinge and fold forward. Moving meditation as you dance with your breath. As you breathe in, lengthen the crown away from your tailbone. Plant your hands, step your feet back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Exhale, lower with control, elbows brushing the ribs. On your breath in, stand into your hands, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Breathe in here. The bottom of your exhalation, looking to your fingers again. Step, walk, or hop your feet to your hands with lightness. On your inhale, lengthen the crown away from your tailbone. Exhale, hinge and fold. In breath, rise, circle the arms tall. And exhale, hands coming back into the heart. One more like that at the pace of your breath. Smooth breath in to rise. Exhale, melt and fold forward. Connecting each breath to a movement. As you breathe in, lengthen the crown away from your tailbone. Plant your hands, step or hop back. Chaturanga Dandasana as you lower with control. Drink in a breath as you inhale, lift your heart. Exhale back, downward facing dog. And so you can hold right here for a few breaths, or we'll add a little bit to build some strength. If it's comfortable for you, take an inhale to rise your right leg up towards the sky. Point through the toe, bend the knee, roll the hip open, but keep the shoulders squared so the right shoulder's dropping down. Choose to stay here. Or, as you inhale, right knee towards left elbow, cross your body, and on the exhale, the leg will rise tall. Inhale, right knee to right side. Exhale, the leg can lift. Inhale, draw the knee all the way through to plant the foot and windmill the arms up, warrior B. So the left foot is planted on an angle, we've got heel to arch alignment. Extend the arms apart as if there's equal forces. Let's gaze over the front fingertips. Find your dristi or gaze. So every posture we have a dristi, which comes from the Sanskrit word drist, to see. So where we direct our focus with our eyes, our attention and our energy goes. So finding your place to focus, breathing deeply. Right knee moving to the pinky toe side of your foot. Keep your legs strong as they are, grounded, exalted warrior. Hinge and tip the upper body back, soften your top shoulder. You can leave the left hand on the leg. You can bring the hand to the sacrum. If you'd like, you can reach around for your hip. Keep softening your right shoulder down. Space between your right hip and your rib cage, opening into the intercostal muscles. You can breathe one more breath. Extended side angle, Utthita Parsvakonasana. You could start with your right elbow to thigh, Extend your left arm long. If you're comfortable, you have the flexibility, you might choose to bring your right hand to the floor, but keep opening the torso. So we have this one long line of energy in the left side body, drawing down into the left foot, reaching far, the same diagonal line with the left arm, maybe gazing to the inner arm, breathing fully. Good, take one more breath. As you inhale, come all the way back up, straighten your right leg. You can heel to the back foot in as we come into Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle. We've got about heel to heel alignment or so. Take an exhale to reach for some length in the right side body. As your right arm drops, your left arm can rise. You could have your hand on a block if you need here. Stacking your shoulders, your hips, opening the heart, maybe bringing your gaze to the top hand. Breathe deeply, feel stable and grounded. Good, on your next breath in, we'll rise all the way up. We're going to turn the toes so that their outer edges of our feet are parallel to the side, short end of your mat. And we'll bring our hands to the hips. We're taking a wide-legged forward bend. We'll come into Parasympathetic A here. Take a deep breath in, lift and open your chest. As you exhale, tip from your hips, spill your pelvis forward and keep your spine long. We'll bring our hands underneath, perhaps to line up with your feet. Take a deep breath and look to the horizon, lengthen. As you exhale, hinge and fold to your point of comfort and ease. Breathe fully, deeply. Allow the shoulders to rise up against gravity so they're nice and active. You can stay here. If you're practicing tripod headstand, feel free to add that in. If you're in your tripod headstand, allow yourself to slowly, with control, come all the way down. Take a deep inhale, look to the horizon, lengthen your spine. Bring your hands onto your hips, and with control, rise all the way back up. Let's turn the toes forward to the top of your mat and step up. And we'll do that sequence on the other side with the warrior. Deep breath in, rise, sweep your arms up tall. Exhale, hinge and fold forward. As you breathe in, lengthen the crown away from your tailbone. Plant your hands, step or hop back, and lowering as you exhale with control. Inhale, lift your heart, keep your shoulders soft, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale back, Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. So again, option to stay here, or we'll build that little bit of heat. As you breathe in, sweep your left leg up tall. Point the toe, bend into your knee. This time keep dropping your left shoulder down so the shoulder stays squared. Choose to stay here. Or as you look to your fingers, inhale, left knee towards right elbow. Exhale, the leg will rise. Inhale, left knee to left side. Exhale, the leg will lift. This time as you inhale, let the foot plant. Reverse warrior, coming into warrior B. The back foot will plant on that angle. Sweep your right arm behind you, your left arm forward. Arms really active as we send our dristi, our gaze, our focal point over the left fingertips. Keep allowing your left knee to peel to the outer edge of your pinky toe. And then keep the legs strong as they are, exalted warrior. Hinge and tip the upper body back. Keep softness in your top shoulder. Take any variation, back hand to sacrum, the hip you choose. A little bit of space between the hips and the ribs on the left side. Good. Utthita Parasvakonasana. As you breathe in, extended side angle. You could stack left elbow to thigh. Reach your right arm long. Or perhaps planting hand to floor. So again, we have that long line of energy in the right side body here. Use your inhale to rise up, straighten your left leg, heel to the back foot in to shorten your stance, heel to heel alignment. Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle. Reach for some length in the left side body. As your left arm drops, your right arm can rise. Opening the heart, stacking your shoulders, your hips, breathing deeply. Navel still tucking in and up, feel strong and stable. As you inhale, rise all the way back up. Take another wide-legged forward bend. Outer edges of your feet are parallel to the outside of your mat. Your toes might be pigeoned in slightly. Hands to your hips. We're going to move this one into a twist. As you inhale, lift your heart. Open your chest. Exhale, tip from your hips, spill your pelvis forward, long spine. This time bring your left hand underneath your line of eyesight. As you breathe in, sweep your right arm to the sky. And so feel like you can stay here. This is a great spot. You might bring your right hand to your sacrum to encourage a neutral sacrum, neutral pelvis. Or some people like to bring the left hand to their hip or your outer imaginary pocket. And rolling that right shoulder open. Breathe deeply. Feel as though your spine is long, tailbone reaching back, crown reaching forward, one long line of energy. And as you exhale, release the right hand to where the left was. Breathe in, sweep your left arm up tall, and you can stay there. You might bring your hand to sacrum, you might reach it around for your right imaginary pocket, rolling the left shoulder open. And as you exhale, let's release the hand down. Take a breath in, look up, lengthen your spine. Hands to your hips, strong active legs will rise you all the way back up. And let's step back up to the top of our mat. We'll take a vinyasa, you're kind of washing all of that away through the body. Big deep breath in, rise, sweep your arms up tall. Dancing with your breath, moving meditation, exhale, fold forward. As you breathe in, lengthen the crown away from your tailbone, plant your hands, step or hop your feet back. Chaturanga Dandasana, riding the wave of your breath, full exhale to lower. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Pause for a few breaths, or feel free to come into Balasana, child's pose, whenever you need in the practice. As you inhale, look to the hands, step, walk, or hop your feet forward with lightness. Lengthen your spine, exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up tall, and exhale, hands back into the heart. We're setting up for Pravita Trikonasana, revolved triangle. So here you might use your block again. Let's take our right foot and step it back about 2 feet or so. We have our hips squared. You're gonna bring your left hand to the sacrum. If you have your block, you likely have it on the inside of your left foot, maybe on the outside, and choose the height that you need for support. As you breathe in, sweep your right arm up nice and tall. On your exhale, hinge from your hips so your spine stays long. Your hand might land on your prop, your block, your shin, maybe the floor on either side of your foot. Begin to peel your left hip back. You can keep your sacrum nice and neutral. You can keep your hand on the sacrum if you'd like, or begin to extend the arm to the sky. Feel your hips stay even, so the left hip is drawing back, grounding into both feet. Your dristi is to your top hand. Make sure you're breathing. We're going to use this to transition into a balance where you might use your block again. So we're coming into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. As you exhale, release your left hand down. Shift your block a little bit further forward if you're using it, and shift your weight into that left foot. You're going to bring your left hand under your shoulder, maybe upon your block. Fingers could be on the floor. And as you inhale, begin to open your torso to the side. We want the lifted leg active, so keep flexing your foot as if you're standing on it. And find the variation that works for you. So if you want more of a challenge today, maybe you hover your bottom hand, bring it to the heart. Lots of options. Strong through the whole body, not just the supporting legs. As you exhale, we'll gently release and bring everything back to where it was. Hands come onto your hips as you breathe in, lift your heart. And as you exhale, let's just step back up to the top of our mat. We'll do the same thing other side. Step your left foot back. So we've got that hip width distance. Our feet are like they're on train tracks. You can move your block over to the right side. We'll bring our right hand to the sacrum. As you inhale, sweep your left arm up, get tall, long spine. Exhale, hinge forward. Wherever the hand is comfortable, the block, the floor, your shin. Start to peel your right hip back. So you're creating space between your right hip and your rib cage. You can stay with the hand on the sacrum. You might rise the arm to the sky. Ground into both feet. Right hip drawing back. As you exhale, release your right hand down. You might bring your block a little further forward. So we're coming into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Lift up through that left leg. Your right hand can be on the floor or your block. And begin to peel the torso open. So the whole body has to be active and engaged here for this to be comfortable and for it to work. Not just the supporting legs. So drawing the navel in and up, pelvic floor contracting, lifting. and find your variation again. You could challenge yourself by looking up to the top hand if you feel comfortable with your balance. As you exhale, let's gently release the limbs down. Bring our hands to our hips, press into both feet as we rise back up. We can step up to the top of our mat. We'll move into another balancing sequence, and one balance will lead into the other. And so find your breath. In fact, let's take a moment to bring one hand onto the heart, one onto the belly. Maybe even close your eyes, check in to your body, your breath. Allow yourself to feel present in the moment once again, in mind and body. And we'll set up for Garudasana, the eagle, which will lead into an eagle taking flight, either into an airplane or Virabhadrasana C. And so we'll start with our left toes really grounded and rooted, and we'll bring our arms out for some support. Take your right leg and sweep it either around to hook, if that's not available, not comfortable, flex your foot above your knee, and take the modification, sitting into an imaginary chair. If it's comfortable for you, you're going to bring your right arm under the left to wrap once or twice. If your shoulders are tight, you might be holding opposite shoulder. See if you can sink into your hips. At the same time, let the shoulders soften and lift the hands. Find a steady gaze, your drishti, supporting you. And find those tapas, strong inner determinations, mental strength keeping us here, focused, grounded. And so we'll try to allow this eagle to take flight. You choose the version that works for you. We'll come into perhaps an airplane to start, and maybe moving into Virabhadrasana C. So as you inhale, rise tall, shoot your right leg back, keep your hips level, and you might take the arms out wide for some support for an airplane. If you want a bit more challenge with balance, Virabhadrasana C, the arms can reach straight forward. The right toes are flexed, pointing down, the foot is flexed. Then as you inhale, dance your legs through, hands to hips, keep your spine lifted, maybe flex the foot for a moment. Exhale, release. You can give it a bit of a shake if you need. And we'll do the same thing other side. Right toes grounding, arms can expand to start. And let's bring either your modified version, flexing the foot sitting into your chair, or taking the leg around to hook. Let's bring left arm under the right, wrapping once or twice. Shoulders soften, the hands can lift. So you can feel this into the rhomboids, the backs of your shoulders. Breathe deeply. Good. We'll transition into your chosen balance. So perhaps you're coming into your airplane as you spread your wings out wide, the left hip dropping down, or maybe into warrior C. So the sacrum is neutral, your lower back is if you could place a little jug of water onto the low back and it wouldn't tip over. Breathing deeply. As you inhale, come all the way back up, hands to hips, extend your left leg, and on the exhale, release, let it go. Shake it out if you need. We'll do one more balance, and you can take the modified version or the full variation of Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, the big toe posture. We'll spread our left toes wide, and you might choose to modify and hold your knee. That's a great place to start. Ensure that your spine is tall. If you're able to yogi grip your toe, that's with your peace fingers and your thumb wrapping around, and keep your spine tall, that's great. Or extend the leg. So avoid this one if you find yourself rounding through the back. Keep yourself lifted. Draw your right shoulder back to square with the left. Breathe deeply. Find your gaze. On your exhale, open the leg to the right. So that could be your bent leg, or maybe the full leg. If you're comfortable with balance, you could look over your left shoulder. If you feel wobbly, you can always extend your left arm to find that counterbalance. We'll take a few breaths. Good. On your inhale, bring your leg back through center. Keep it lifted, hands to hips. Exhale, release. We'll do the same thing other side. Right toes grounded. Take the version that suits you. Maybe you're holding your knee with a tall spine. Yogi grip the toe with a tall spine, knee bent. Or extending the leg, and then we'll draw the left shoulder back to square up with the right. Whole body engaged, feel strong, little string at the crown, lifting you up taller. As you exhale, the leg will open to the left. You might move your gaze over to the right. Find any modifications you need. On your breath in, the leg can come back through center. Keep it lifted and active and tall. You can keep hands to hips. And as you exhale, gently release. Nice. I'm going to take a sun salutation to come into the next posture, moving into a little bit of strength work into side plank. So we'll come up to the top of our mat, take a deep breath in, rise, the arms up, get tall. Exhale, hinge and flow forward. Deep breath in, lengthen the crown away from your tailbone. Plant your hands, step your feet back, and ride the full breath as you lower with control. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. So I'd like to offer a few modifications for this posture. You could start with your right knee in the center of your mat in line with your right hand, and perhaps we'll open up the torso. And this can be your pose. Maybe this is where you stay. This is great. You want some challenge here, you might start to flex and lift the top leg. If you're comfortable in full Vashisthasana, there's no wrist tension, then you might begin to stack your feet. And we'll breathe here for 5 breaths. Choose the version that suits you. You can add some spice by hovering the top leg, maybe hanging onto your big toe. Keep pressing up with your right hip. You might let your gaze lift. Breathe fully. As you exhale, we'll release. We'll do the other side right away. So you could drop your left knee down, your left hand in line with your knee. Maybe your variation is here. Perhaps you're coming to lift and flex the top leg, or maybe you're stacking your feet. Find the version that suits you today. Keep pressing up with your left hip. Breathe that strength. Good. As you exhale, release your hands back into high plank. We're going to lower all the way to the belly on the count of 5, elbows hugging in. You can go from your knees if you need. For 5, 4, neck is long for 3, good, 2, and 1. Release everything to the top of your mat, the tops of the feet as well. Keep your hands on either side where they landed. We're going to move into a few back extensions. As we do these, protect your low back by drawing the navel in and up and allow the pubic bone to ground into the earth. Okay. When you're ready, take a deep breath in, lift your torso, draw your shoulders onto the back body. So I'm not using my hands here, it's simply the strength of my back. So I want to keep the hands on the ground for balance, but try not to push into them as you draw the shoulders back together. Keep your neck neutral, breathe deeply, pubic bone pushing into the earth. As you exhale, release. Let's rest onto the left cheek. You can take your arms alongside the body so the palms face up. And notice your body here. Notice the heart beating a little bit faster. Feel the connection of your body to the earth beneath you. And we'll move through 2 more variations. You can always go back to the previous one if you need. Let's start coming back onto our chin. This time we're going to interlace the hands onto the low back. If that's a bit too much, you can hang onto your elbows. And again, we're starting to lift through the upper body here. So we can draw the knuckles towards your feet, shoulder blades will roll together. You can look straight down, that's great. If it's comfortable, the legs can hover as well. So these back extensions building lots of lumbar strength into the low back. Pressing pubic bone into the earth, keep yourself breathing. As you exhale, release, relax onto the opposite cheek, the right cheek. And the arms can come alongside the body, allow the shoulders to naturally roll inward. Take any movement that feels good in your body. Maybe that's a rocking of the hips. And so we'll come into child's pose to counter these postures here. So you can bring your knees together for this one. Sit back, and this time take the arms alongside the body so the palms face upward. Allow your forehead to melt down, and allow your shoulders to naturally roll inward. It should feel quite good after those back extensions. Take a few deep breaths. from here, we're going to come into our tabletop position. So as you come back into tabletop, align your shoulders above your wrists, the hips above your knees. Take a stretch into the upper back here. As you inhale, sweep your right arm towards the sky, peel your chest open. And on your exhale, thread the arm through so that you might rest onto your right shoulder, your temple. You can stay there. If it feels good, you might deepen this by extending the left arm to the top of your mat. Slide your left hip back so your hips stay squared. And then breathe deeply. To come back out, we'll ensure that the left hand is under your shoulder. As you press into the hand, inhale, peel your right arm back up. And exhale the arm back down. Same thing other side, deep breath in, the left arm will lift. And as you exhale, come to rest onto the left shoulder, the temple. You might find your right arm extending long. If that feels like a good variation for you, slide your right hip back. Take any variation you like. If you like the hand on the sacrum or reaching for the opposite hip. We'll plant our hand again under the shoulder, and as you inhale, peel the left arm back up, and exhale the arm back down. We're coming into seated. If you'd like to take a vinyasa to come to seated, if you'd like to just sit back onto your bottom and extend your legs out, that's great too. And so as you're here, you want to pull the fleshy part of your bottom out of the way so the sitting bones connect to the earth. And we'll move from Dandasana into Paschimottanasana or forward bend. So if you typically use any blocks underneath your seat, then feel free to add that in. Yeah? We'll bring our hands on either side of our hips. Push into your hands, lift your sternum, draw your shoulder blades back, tuck your navel in, flex your feet. Your quadriceps are quite active, rolling inward. And you can glance down to the navel, so there's not too much movement there. All of the breath is into the chest and the side ribs, expanding, contracting. Still with that audible Ujjayi breath. And so try to feel your body growing in all directions, up and down, forward and back. Everything is active. And when we remove the hands, ensure that the spine doesn't collapse. Yeah? So we're still tall, proud. As you breathe in, sweep your arms up to the sky. Paschimottanasana or forward fold, exhale will fold. Wherever your hands come without rounding your back. That could be the ground, shins, your ankles. Could even keep your hands behind you if it helps keep your spine long rather than rounded. Maybe you hold on to your big toes with your peace fingers and thumb yogi grip. Take a deep breath in to get long, and as you exhale, melt a little bit deeper. We'll take 5 breaths. And so yoga postures are not static. There's a little bit of evolution with the breath. Typically on the inhales, we're gaining some length. On the exhales, we might be melting a little bit deeper. Keep your neck long. Take one more breath that you can hear. Use your inhale to rise all the way back up. Set up for Purvottanasana, inclined plank. So we're coming back to the elbows, just as a marker. So notice where your elbows have landed, and you'll plant your hands there, fingers pointing forward. There's a few variations. If you've got a shoulder injury, I would recommend just opening your chest, like so, or taking tabletop if it's comfortable. Your knees stacking above your hips, a little bit easier. Or the full posture, a little bit more intense. So in the full pose, we're grounding our toes towards the earth. Hips lift. Quads are rolling inward. You can stay here with your neck. If it's comfortable, we can open the throat. Be mindful that there is ease and comfort in the pose. A few breaths here. Feel your body working hard. The shoulders, the triceps. As you exhale, gently bring yourself down. I like to counter that pose with a rounding action of my spine. So the soles of the feet together, pretty far away in a diamond. We can bring our hands over top or underneath, around your back this time. Like a turtle going into its shell, let your head dangle. Reverse the curve of your neck. And notice your breath. Become present again, right into the moment. As you inhale, begin to rise up. Let's extend our left leg long. The right foot is going to glue in so that there is some resistance between your foot and your thigh, Janu Shishasana A, like a seated tree pose. As you breathe in, sweep your arms up, get tall. Little twist to square your hips over your extended leg as you hinge forward. And again, wherever the hands come comfortably. It can be the ground, your shin, your foot, maybe your wrists. As you breathe in, get longer. And as you exhale, hinge a bit deeper. Feel the stretch into your hamstring with ease, easeful effort. There's no strain, we're not moving beyond our limits. On your breath, and rise back up, we'll add an extension. Ground your right hand behind you, come up onto your right knee, your left foot is grounded. Sweep your top arm overhead as you press your hips forward. If this is a bit too much strain on your neck, you can cup and support the back of your head, still allowing yourself to press the hips forward. And as you exhale, let's gently release. Same thing other side. Right leg extended. Let's take our left foot, glue it in nice and tight so you feel that resistance between the foot and the thigh. As you breathe in, sweep your arms up, get tall. Little twist to the right, square your hips over top of your extended leg. As you inhale, find length. And on your exhale, melt and fold. Keep your cervical spine, your neck in line with the rest of your spine. So that might determine where you're gazing. The hamstrings are a little bit tighter. You might be looking to the foot. As they open, you might be tucking your chin to look to the leg or the navel. As you breathe in, rise back up. We'll add that same extension. Ground your left hand behind you. Come up onto your left knee. Right foot grounded, top arm overhead as you press your hips forward, or feel free to cup and support the back of your head, taking some nice full breaths. A little bit of space between the right side body. As you exhale, gently bring yourself down. We're going to scooch up to the top of your mat, bring the soles of your feet together. And this time your sitting bones are a little bit closer to your heels. So last time we were in a diamond with the legs farther forward. This time they're a little bit closer. Coming into Baddha Konasana, we'll sit at the top of our mat because we're going to take some time maybe to roll the spine up and back. So we'll bring our thumbs to the inside of our feet and open your feet like you're reading a book. Notice if you're forward flexing, if you're rounding your back, then drop your shoulders, lift your spine. This might be your posture. If there's a little bit of movement from the pelvis, keep your spine long, and as you exhale, gently melt from your hips. And you can allow your gaze to rest right in front of your feet, or perhaps even closing the eyes. Sometimes I find taking away that sense of sight, the aesthetics of the pose, can allow us to drop deeper into sensation. Feel into this posture in your body. Notice where you feel the posture without any sense of judgment or story around it. Simply becoming a witness, observing. As you inhale, rise yourself nice and tall. And catch a hold of our big toes with peace fingers and thumb yogi grip. And you're going to find a balance. Maybe your balance is heels hovering. That can be where you stay the whole time. Maybe it's knees bent. Or maybe we have our legs extended. Reach your sternum to the sky, like you've got a little string right at your heart. And please feel free to stay here the whole time. So this is a good spot to challenge yourself. If you're comfortable and you have the mobility, it feels okay for you, you've got nothing behind you, we're going to round our back. We'll breathe here for a few breaths, pressing the backs of the legs to the sky. So you're resting onto the shoulders. There should be no neck tension here. The fun part is to come back up. So if you'd like to give it a try with me, give it a go. Laugh if you can't make it on the first try, that's okay. Using your core strength. You might round all the way up. And we're coming into Navasana, the boat pose. So lots of variations. We can be here, here, or even here. Choose what supports your back, and we'll breathe deeply for 5 breaths. Heart lifting to the ceiling. You can cross right leg over left, pull them in tightly, plant your hands, maybe lift or pretend to lift. Second one, we'll do 3 of these today. So find your balance, the version that suits you. Cross the opposite, left over right. If you find the lifting hard, you can cheat, make a fist. But using your core strength, navel tucking in and up, you might lift. Last one. Ensure you are at the top of your mat for this one because we're going to roll our spine down. So find your balance. Find what you need, some support. If you feel good, we'll bring both hands to the right using our obliques, a couple breaths. Both to the left. Both in front. Mindfully, you'll lower. The hands can assist you if you need the back support, or one vertebra at a time. Start to release. I'm just going to scooch myself back here. And so as you come down, take a moment just to feel into your body. I find bringing a hand to the heart and the belly to be quite comforting and gives me a chance to check in with those areas of the body. Good. Okay, let's release our arms on either side of us. We're going to get set up for mini bridge here. And so we'll start, we're going to move into 3 back bends today. And so this is a great warm up for our spine. We're having our heels quite close to our sitting bones. Our feet are about hip width distance apart. And pressing into my feet, on the inhale, I'm going to lift my hips. If your shoulders are comfortable, we're going to walk the shoulders under, open up the chest, make sure that feels easeful for you. You might choose to hold your ankles. You can choose to interlace your fingers underneath, or you might hold your hips for some back support. So choose the variation that is comfortable and helpful. We'll take about 5 breaths. As you're here, allow your adductors, your inner thighs to work hard. So they're drawing together as if you've got a yoga block between your legs. Let's release our hands, our shoulders, one vertebra at a time. Let your spine come down. And again, notice, feel into the body. Notice the residue of that posture on your body. Back bends can be quite energizing. They do take a lot of effort. Just check in. You can do the same variation once again. In fact, let's give that option for you with a little bit of an add-on. If you're working on full wheel, Urdhva Dhanurasana, you can go right into that. I'll demonstrate that on the 3rd one. If you'd like, the same thing again with a little bit of a modification. Hips will rise, walk your shoulders under. You could hold your hips for this one if you want some support, or challenge yourself again by interlacing your fingers. Keep your hips at the same height, and then start to lift up your right leg. So you're bending the knee and then rising the leg up. Hips rising tall. Take a few breaths. Again, we can bend the knee, plant the foot. We'll do the same thing other side. Bend your knee, and then the leg rising tall. And then slowly easing your way out, releasing hands, shoulders, meticulously coming down as you keen in. Pause for a moment. Feel the residue of that on your body. You can repeat the same posture once again, either of those variations, or working into Urdhva Dhanurasana full wheel. And so for full wheel, you can also take the modified version onto the top of your head. So we'll plant into the feet. Our hands are coming back, but the fingers will point towards your feet. And maybe you're coming into the version where you're just resting onto the top of your head. That's great, just building some strength. Or pressing into your hands, you'll start to rise up. I like to come onto the balls of my feet just to get a bit more of an opening, but you can choose what feels good for you. Heart pressing through, breathe deeply. Allow your feet to land. As you come down from full wheel, tuck your chin to your chest, protecting your neck. And again, take a moment checking into your body. You could bring your feet to the outer edges of your mat and just let your knees TP into each other for a moment. It's nice to have a passive forward bend to counter your back bend. And so either you can hug your knees to your chest and then just lift your head up, curling your head in towards your knees. If you find that's not enough for you, you might sit in a very passive Parottanasana. Yeah? So you choose. Or, my apologies, Paschimottanasana. And so after you've had several breaths, if you're in that posture, you can come back down onto your knees. And if you're here, you can let your head relax back down. Let's take Ananda Balasana, happy baby pose. Bend your knees, feet face the sky. Wherever the hands can come comfortably. I like to grab from the inside of the legs. You can have calves, ankles, maybe the tops of the feet. Keep your head grounded. There may be a little bit of pressure from hands into the feet, as if your knees are going to drip to either side of your body. And then find a few deep breaths. Let's bring our knees back together. We're going to take a spinal twist, just a gentle twist. We'll allow both knees to drop over to the right. At the same time, the left arm can extend wide or into a cactus position, whatever feels best for your body. And rather than forcing the legs down if your shoulders lifted, you might use some props underneath the legs if you need. And if it feels okay for your neck, you might look away from the legs. And then enjoy a few deep breaths. Really feel into this twist. You can bring your head back to neutral as you gently bring the legs back into the center. You can drop them onto the other side. And then again, allow, if it's comfortable for the neck, useful, you might look away from the legs and take a few deep breaths. Conscious, audible breaths. Your head can come back to center and gently back to the midline. So there's a few options for this next part. And we're coming into a bit of a closing. And I like to end with an inversion. If shoulder stand is not accessible for you, this is a great alternative. Just having the back on the ground and the palms on either side for support, the legs lifted. If that's still too intense for your hamstrings to hold, then what you can do is find a wall. And the easiest way to get into this one is actually sit quite close to the wall, and you can can your legs up the wall here, or if you probably tip your legs up the wall. Okay, so that's another option that you can hold the whole time we do this next sequence. Okay? If shoulder stand is comfortable for your practice, for your body, then we're going to move into shoulder stand and halasana the plow. And so choose the variation that works for you. We'll start again with our legs up, our back on the ground, and that's a good place to stay, or moving to a wall if you need that support. And so allowing some blood flow to reverse. If shoulder stand is comfortable for you, press into the palms, allow the legs to travel back. Walk the shoulders under so you feel that support. Okay? Your hands will go onto the back, fingers pointing to the sky. You might lift the legs a little, or eventually all the way up towards the sky. And we'll glance up to the feet. So keep your eyes focused there. There's no added neck tension by looking side to side. Let's take 10 breaths. So to transition, we'll slowly bring the legs back into halasana, the plow, back over your head. If your toes do not touch the ground, please hold your back for support and feel free to come down at any point when you need. If they do touch, you might find yourself interlacing the fingers and pulling the knuckles away from your feet. So this is really the deepest version of a forward bend that we can do. I love this posture. I feel a great release in my body. It's one of my favorite yoga postures. Let's breathe deeply here. From here you can, again, come onto the toes. Under your hands so the palms touch the ground. That's there to support you. One vertebra at a time, you can roll out your spine nice and slow. Allow the legs to come down quite slowly. Use the strength of your body. Your legs are moving through water or honey, nice and slow. If your legs are up the wall, Viparita Karani, and you'd like to join us in Matsyasana, the fish pose, just take your time to ease out of that. You might rest in a fetal position between that. If you're comfortable and you'd like to come into this next posture, we're going to sit upon your hands. And so the legs are actually going to stay long, they won't lift. We're sitting on our hands. And be mindful of your neck for this one, make sure it's comfortable, but we're using the elbows to push into the elbows, open your chest, and drop your head back. We're resting on the top of the head, opening through the throat. This can be tricky if you've got a ponytail or a bun. Take some deep breaths here, opening the space of your throat chakra, your heart space. You can stay right here. If flying fish is accessible for you, comfortable, be mindful and make sure it feels good. Core is engaged, neck is strong. We can lift the limbs 45 degrees or so. To release, you can use your elbows to untuck your chin, and we'll hug our knees towards the chest. You can rock to one side and help yourself up, or rock all the way up to seated. We're going to move into a little bit of breath work before we close off the practice. And again, grab any props that you need. If you like to sit upon a block, then please feel free to do that. We're going to move into simple breathing exercise where we find a longer duration on our exhale as to the inhale. So we might find double the length on the exhalation, matching sort of half of that time on the in-breath. And the reason that we do this is that we begin to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, stimulating the vagal nerve and allowing our body to move deeper into relaxation. So this is a very simple breathing exercise that we can do to bring our body into a place of rest, of relaxation. If you find yourself in high anxiety, this is very easy. Just sit down, take 5 minutes to breathe with a lengthening of the exhale to about half that on the in-breath. So before we start, find your tall spine. Let your hands come to rest someplace comfortable. Close your eyes if you can, taking away that external stimulus, or just allow your gaze to rest in front of you. And just firstly, tap into your own natural rhythm. So you can let go of any ujjayi breath, your own rhythm has returned here. See if you can hear the sound of your breathing. And so what we're going to do with the lips sealed still, I still like to rest my tongue onto the upper palate behind the top teeth just because it creates sound, and the sound, it allows me to fall deeper into the breath. So you might find your breath might be a different duration than mine. I like to find a count of 8 on the exhale to a count of 4 on the in-breath. And so it might sound something like so. I'll try and breathe a little bit louder. Inhaling 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 8,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 3 more rounds on your own. Certainly remain with that practice a few more cycles. If you'd like to end your practice with a little bit of heat, you might open up your eyes. And if you are able to come into full lotus, from here you could try to lift. Plant your hands on either side. We'll take 10 breaths, or continue with that long breath we were just doing. Time for Shavasana, the corpse posture, our final pose, and perhaps the most important. And so allow yourself to come into a comfortable place, laying on your back. Please add any props that you need to feel supported, comfortable. And we'll take a couple of minutes here in Shavasana. And so as you're here, I'll allow you to ease into your body, so wiggle around if you need. And you'll take a great deep breath in so that you can fill your lungs all the way up to the top. Fill all the way up to the top and hold. And an exhale, let it out through your mouth. Feel your body surrender. If you need to do that again, go for it. Let go of any controlled breathing. Your natural rhythm can return as you allow yourself to remain in physical stillness. Let that permeate into the mental body. Find your mind right here. If there's chatter, watch the chatter as if it is just passing by on water, floating on clouds. Just labeling it as a thought and coming back to the breath, into the moment, into presence. And I'll call your attention back in a couple of minutes.
softly and ever so gently, start to bring your awareness back. Perhaps that's a nice deep breath as you feel the belly rise and fall. You can return some soft organic movement into your limbs at your pace. Wiggling fingers, toes, wrist the ankles. If it feels good for you, you might even extend your arms overhead. Take a full body stretch like you're waking up. The second time today. And from here you can gather your knees in towards the heart. Give yourself a good loving squeeze. And then we're going to roll into a fetus position. So just extend the bottom arm, and as you roll onto that side, your head will be cradled onto the inner arm. And take a moment just to pause. Notice the practice on your body and notice how you feel. Physically, mentally, just checking in. And taking a moment for gratitude. Grateful that we can move our bodies as we do so freely. Grateful for taking the time and space to connect mind to body and breath to movement. With the assistance of your hands, you can start to press up into a seated position. So you come to sit nice and tall, spine lifted. We'll bring our hands into the heart at Anjali Mudra. And so as you find yourself sitting tall, drop your shoulders, close your eyes. Take a great big inhalation, extend your arms up towards the sky, the palms will meet above. And then rest your thumbs onto the forehead as a good reminder to fill our mind space with positive thoughts, knowing the seeds that we plant here can flourish in the world and grow around us. Bring thumbs onto the mouth, may you speak with kindness, and onto your heart, may you fill it with love and compassion. Thank you for sharing strength of body and mind today. Namaste.